Have you ever noticed how someone's behavior changes the moment they sense you pulling away? One day, they seem indifferent, distant, even uninterested. The next, they're suddenly desperate to get your attention. It's confusing, isn't it? You start questioning yourself, wondering what you did wrong. But here's the truth. It's not about what you did wrong. It's about what they didn't value until it was gone. This is human nature. We take things for granted until they slip through our fingers like a shadow that only becomes noticeable when the light fades. Your absence creates a void they can't ignore. Suddenly, you're all they can think about. Today, we're going to explore why people get desperate when they realize they've lost your interest, and more importantly, how Stoicism gives you the power to stay in control. When you master your emotions, you command respect. When you stop chasing, you stop settling. And when you learn to walk away with confidence, you step into a power that no one can take from you. Think of your attention like fire. While it burns, it provides warmth, comfort, and light. People gather around it, enjoying its glow. But the moment that fire is gone, the cold sets in. Those who once basked in its warmth now feel the loss deeply. That's what happens when you withdraw your energy. You don't have to argue. You don't have to beg. You don't have to prove your worth. Your silence speaks louder than any words, and that silence creates a void. Here's the thing. People hate emptiness. When you stop giving them the attention they once took for granted, they panic. Their sudden interest isn't always about love or genuine care. It's about filling the space you left behind. It's about regaining the control they thought they had over you. But the mistake most people make is that they rush to fill that void for them. This is where Stoicism changes everything. The ancient Stoics believed in controlling what you can and letting go of what you can't. They understood that true power isn't in chasing. It's in standing firm. When you step back with grace, you send a clear message. I know my worth. My time and energy are privileges, not guarantees. I refuse to beg for appreciation. That quiet confidence shifts the entire dynamic. People are drawn to what they can't easily have. Confidence is magnetic. Independence is alluring. The ability to let go without anger or bitterness makes you stand out in a world where so many are desperate for validation. But let's be clear, this isn't about playing games. It's not manipulation. It's about self-respect. It's about realizing that your energy is valuable and not everyone deserves access to it. Most people live like leaves in the wind, blown around by the opinions and actions of others. But you are the storm. You move with purpose. You stand strong. You decide who gets to be in your life, not the other way around. Stoicism teaches you to be the river that keeps flowing, regardless of who's watching. It teaches you to be the person who doesn't cling, doesn't chase, and doesn't settle for less than they deserve. And here's the irony. The moment you embody this mindset, the same people who once ignored you will start chasing you, because what is rare is valuable, and what is hard to get is desired. Before we dive deeper, I want to leave you with a question, a single question that will reveal whether someone truly values you or if they're just desperate to fill the void you left behind. Ask yourself, if I never reached out again, would they ever make the effort? This one question will change how you see yourself and your relationships. Now, take a moment to affirm your value. Comment below, I am valuable. Let this be your declaration, not just to others, but to yourself. And if this message resonates with you, don't just watch. Take action. Like this video to spread the message. Subscribe to the channel. If you're ready to step into your power, hit the bell icon so you never miss content that makes you stronger. Your story, your experiences, they could inspire someone else on their journey, so share your thoughts below. Before you go, I have one last question. This one is powerful, and it will reveal everything about the people around you. Who in your life would still be there if they could no longer benefit from you? Think about that hard, because when you truly embrace your worth, you'll see how effortlessly the world starts chasing you. Now let's dive in. Number 1. The art of emotional restraint. When it comes to emotions, showing too much too soon is like revealing your entire hand in a high-stakes poker game. The moment your cards are exposed, the mystery is gone, and with it, your advantage. Stoicism teaches us that controlling our emotions is not about having power over others, but about mastering ourselves. In relationships, this control can change everything. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that full emotional transparency makes them more attractive. We're taught that honesty is important, and that's true, but there's a difference between honesty and overexposure. While truth builds trust, excessive emotional display kills intrigue. It's like a magician explaining their tricks. Once the mystery is gone, so is the wonder. Ask yourself, why are challenges so captivating? Why do people crave what isn't easily attained? The answer lies in human psychology. People value what requires effort. If you constantly pour out your emotions, you remove the mystery that keeps someone engaged. Predictability becomes your downfall. Instead of being an intriguing and dynamic presence, you risk becoming an open book, easily read, quickly forgotten. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you constantly express your emotions without restraint, you give that power away. You let your feelings dictate the relationship, allowing others to control the dynamic. But when you hold back, you shift the balance. You become a steady flame instead of a flickering candle, unshaken by external forces. Now you might wonder, does this mean you have to be cold or distant? Absolutely not. Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about expressing them with purpose. Think of it like a dam controlling a powerful river. The water is still there, but it's guided with precision, not flooding uncontrollably. Another way to see it, imagine a chessboard. Each move you make reveals part of your strategy, but the key to winning is in the moves you don't make, the ones that remain hidden until the right moment. The same applies to emotions. When you don't lay everything out, you create an aura of unpredictability, and unpredictability is magnetic. It draws people in, it makes them curious, wanting to know more. This is where the balance of power begins to shift. When you stop being overly available, when you stop always explaining yourself, they start to feel the imbalance. It's human nature to chase what feels just out of reach. This isn't about manipulation. It's about knowing your worth. You don't have to prove your value with constant reassurance. Instead, let others recognize it through your actions. If you're worried, won't they lose interest if I don't constantly show how much I care? Ask yourself this: does genuine interest fade just because you don't hand everything over instantly? The answer is no. Real desire grows in curiosity. When someone doesn't have immediate access to your emotions, they start thinking about you more. They wonder what you're feeling. They wonder what they need to do to get closer. That curiosity plants the seed of desire, and over time, desire turns into admiration. Epicurus said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By mastering your emotional responses, you elevate yourself. You go from being predictable to being a challenge, and challenges aren't just intriguing, they're unforgettable. People work harder for them, they value them more, they appreciate them deeply. So keep your emotions guarded, let your feelings simmer beneath the surface, and reveal them only when they serve a purpose. Not only will you command respect, but you'll become someone worth pursuing, someone they have to earn. In a world full of open books, be the locked journal they can't put down. Now, take a moment to affirm your value. Comment below, "I am valuable." Let this be your reminder that your emotions are powerful, and only those who truly deserve them should have access. If this message resonated with you, like this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss content that strengthens you. Your presence is rare. Own it. 2. Cut the cord. Let them feel your absence. Desperation is a slow poison. The more you show it, the faster it eats away at your dignity. It's like quicksand. The harder you fight, the deeper you sink. When someone pulls away, your instincts scream at you to chase, to beg, to fix whatever went wrong. But stop for a moment and ask yourself, when has sacrificing your self-respect ever made someone value you more? The truth is, desperation is surrender. It's handing over your power, saying, "I'll trade my self-worth just to keep you close." But why should you fight for someone who isn't fighting for you? Imagine a person drowning in the middle of the ocean, clinging to a sinking raft, begging the waves to be kind. That's what desperation looks like to the one you're chasing. They don't see it as devotion, they see it as weakness. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have to assemble your life action by action and be satisfied if each one achieves its goal as far as possible, and no one can keep you from this." When you act out of desperation, you abandon control over your own life. You make someone else the center of your universe, and in doing so, you send a silent message. You are the source of my happiness, and without you, I am lost. Think of a fire. If you add too much fuel too quickly, it doesn't burn brighter, it suffocates and dies. That's what happens when you flood someone with neediness. Instead of rekindling their interest, you extinguish it completely. But here's the thing. Walking away isn't giving up. It's not a game. It's not about pretending you don't care. It's about choosing yourself. It's about deciding that your time, your energy, and your emotions are treasures, and if someone treats them as disposable, they don't deserve them. At this point, the doubt creeps in. But if I don't chase, won't they just move on? That's the fear talking. But the answer is simple. If someone truly values you, they won't need to be chased. And if they don't, then why waste another second of your life running after them? Epictetus once said, "Curb your desire, don't set your heart on so many things, and you will get what you need." When you stop chasing, something incredible happens. You create space, a void they can feel. The power dynamic shifts. Suddenly, the attention they took for granted is no longer guaranteed. That absence becomes a mirror, forcing them to confront their own actions, their own choices. What was once predictable now feels like a mystery they need to solve. Imagine a pendulum. If you force it forward, pushing constantly, it only resists. But if you let go, it swings back naturally. When you step away, you let them experience the consequences of their distance. It's not manipulation, it's balance. And in that balance, respect is born. Desperation is not love. It's fear, the fear of being alone, the fear of not being enough, the fear of losing something you think you need. But Stoicism teaches a deeper truth. You are already enough. Whether they stay or go, you are whole. You don't need validation to prove your worth. You don't need their presence to complete you. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free. Be free of the chains of neediness, and you'll find a strength you never knew you had." The next time someone starts to pull away, don't panic. Let them feel your absence. Let them wonder why the power they once held over you has vanished. Let them decide whether they're willing to put in the effort to earn your attention again. Because here's the secret. When you value yourself, others will follow. And if they don't, you'll walk away with your dignity intact and your confidence unshaken. That's real power. That's freedom. Let them feel the void, and you'll discover just how strong you really are. 3. Keep them wanting more, the power of distance. The most valuable things in life are never the ones that come too easily. Diamonds are buried deep within the earth. Treasures are locked away. Even the stars need the vastness of the night sky to be admired. What is rare is desired, and what is easily accessible is taken for granted. This truth applies not just to material things, but to human relationships as well. People are drawn to what they can't always have. The art of being occasionally unreachable isn't about playing games, it's about self-worth. Stoicism teaches that time and attention are our most precious resources, and wasting them on people who don't value them is a betrayal of ourselves. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." In other words, stop debating your worth. Live it, own it. Constant availability diminishes value. It signals that there's nothing else important in life except for them. Nothing is less attractive than someone whose entire existence revolves around another person. When someone is always there, they become like air, essential but unnoticed. Familiarity breeds complacency. Scarcity breeds appreciation. When something is readily available, it stops feeling special. Think of ocean tides. Their ebb and flow make them mesmerizing. If the waters were still, they would lose their power. Distance, when done with purpose, fuels desire. Yet the common fear arises. But won't they lose interest if I pull away? This is where Stoicism provides clarity. It's not about being distant for the sake of it. It's about living a life full enough that you aren't waiting by the phone, measuring your worth by someone else's attention. Epicurus said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." When someone leads a life rich with purpose, occasional unavailability isn't a tactic, it's a natural consequence. Imagine someone texts, and instead of dropping everything to reply instantly, the response comes when they genuinely have time, not to create distance, but because they are engaged in something meaningful. Or they suggest a meetup, and instead of immediately adjusting their schedule, they already have plans. These small moments send a powerful message. They are someone with priorities, someone who values their time, someone who cannot be taken for granted. Think of a flame. Fire burns brightest when it has air to breathe, but if it's smothered with fuel, it weakens and dies. The same happens with human connection. Without space, the flame of attraction burns out. Distance isn't about manipulation, it's about being someone whose presence is earned, not expected. Then comes the next worry. But what if they feel neglected? What if they stop trying altogether? Here's the truth. People only stop trying when they were never truly invested to begin with. Those who genuinely value someone won't walk away just because they weren't handed unlimited access. In fact, they'll appreciate the moments they do get even more. A lack of availability doesn't push the right people away. It draws them in. It creates intrigue, curiosity, and respect. When someone steps back, something shifts. The once predictable presence, always available, now becomes a presence worth pursuing. They start wondering, why aren't they as accessible as before? What's changed? That curiosity ignites interest. What was once familiar becomes exciting again, not because of mind games, but because of self-respect. The things that are cherished most are the ones that feel like they could be lost. By embracing this truth, they align themselves with the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. They aren't just maintaining dignity, they are teaching others how to value it too. The greatest treasures in life aren't the ones that are always within reach. They are the ones that must be earned. Be one of them. 4. Move or be left behind. Let your actions speak. A bird never waits for the flock that has flown away. It doesn't stay perched on a wire, staring into the sky, hoping they'll return. It spreads its wings and soars toward new horizons. That bird understands something many forget. Life moves forward with or without the ones who leave. Waiting for someone who doesn't value your presence is like grounding yourself when you're meant to fly. When someone pulls away, the natural instinct is to pause, hoping they'll notice the void and rush back. But in standing still, you send a silent message that your happiness, your progress, even your identity are tied to their choices. That is not power, that is surrender. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Thoughts rooted in waiting and passivity don't lead to fulfillment. They lead to stagnation. Imagine a river that stops flowing, waiting for someone to admire it. Over time, it becomes still, murky, lifeless. But a river that keeps moving remains vibrant, cutting new paths, nourishing everything around it. That is the energy that draws people in, and that is the energy of a person who refuses to wait for someone else's validation to live. Yet the doubt creeps in. But won't they think I'm just trying to make them jealous? The answer is simple. Intent matters. If someone thrives on the idea that you are waiting for them, clinging to the hope of their return, they were never drawn to you for the right reasons. This isn't about revenge. It isn't about showing off. It's about reclaiming your life, proving that your value doesn't depend on their presence. When you chase your passions, meet new people, and engage in experiences that fuel you, you aren't trying to make them jealous. You are just living authentically. Think of a thriving garden, lush, full, flourishing. It doesn't beg the rain to fall or the sun to shine. It grows regardless. And because of that, it draws admiration, not by asking for attention, but by simply existing in its own beauty and strength. Your life should be that garden, expanding, fulfilling, never waiting for approval to bloom. Epicurus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Waiting for someone to choose you is the opposite of self-mastery. It's handing them control over your happiness. Instead, by actively investing in yourself, you take back that power. You show, not through words, but through actions, that you are complete and valuable with or without them. Then the final fear. But what if moving forward means losing them forever? The real question is, was someone who only values you when they fear losing you ever truly yours to begin with? A relationship built on respect and admiration thrives when both individuals are strong on their own, not when one person's world revolves around the other. Moving forward doesn't mean closing the door. It simply means you are no longer standing in the doorway waiting. If they come back, it won't be because they pity you. It will be because they see you in a new light. The predictable, passive presence they once took for granted has now become a person of intrigue, and suddenly questions start forming in their mind. Why do they seem so happy? Who are they spending time with? Where did this new energy come from? It's not jealousy, it's realization. The realization that you won't wait forever, that you are moving towards something bigger, that someone else might see the value they overlooked. And here's the truth. This awakening doesn't always lead to reconciliation. And that's okay, because the goal was never to bring them back. The goal was to bring yourself back. A person who is fulfilled and confident is magnetic, not because they seek attention, but because they radiate self-worth. And when you choose growth over waiting, when you choose movement over stagnation, you open yourself to people and opportunities that match your value. Life is too short to waste in stillness. Stand tall, move forward, let your actions speak. As Seneca said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Don't waste yours waiting for someone to realize what they had. Embrace the journey ahead and let the world see your worth through the unstoppable, extraordinary life you create. 5. Protect your treasure. Stop wasting time on the wrong people. Time is more valuable than gold, yet most people spend it as if it's limitless. How many hours, days, even years are wasted chasing after someone who doesn't truly value them? Every moment spent on a one-sided pursuit is a moment lost forever. Time that could have been invested in something that actually matters. Stoicism reminds us that life is short and time is irreplaceable. To waste it on those who fail to see your worth is to throw away the most precious thing you own. Seneca put it best: "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Imagine holding a chest full of gold coins, each one representing a day of your life. Would you throw handfuls of it into the wind for someone who barely acknowledges its worth? Yet that's exactly what happens when time and energy are given to people who don't appreciate them. This isn't about being cold or detached. It's about recognizing that your time is valuable and treating it with the respect it deserves. When someone values their time, they elevate their worth. People are naturally drawn to those who respect themselves, those who carry an air of purpose and confidence. In contrast, those who give away their time freely, even to those who don't deserve it, are often overlooked or taken for granted. The common doubt arises: doesn't this make me selfish? Shouldn't I give if I care about someone? The answer is balance. Stoicism isn't about withholding affection or support. It's about aligning actions with values. If efforts are met with indifference or disregard, continuing to invest in that dynamic isn't an act of love. It's self-neglect. By stepping back, there is no selfishness, only self-respect. Time and energy are finite. They should be shared with those who genuinely value them. Think of a well. If everyone constantly draws from it without replenishing it, the well eventually runs dry. But when its waters are managed wisely, it remains a source of life and strength. The same applies to personal energy. When it is reserved for meaningful pursuits and relationships, it becomes a source of power, not just for others, but for oneself. Picture this: the chase stops. The need to prove worth to someone who isn't receptive disappears. Instead, all that energy is poured into passions, growth, and relationships that actually matter. Over time, something shifts. The person who once took effort for granted may start to question their own behavior. They begin to wonder, why has their focus changed? Did I take something valuable for granted? But this isn't about playing games or creating jealousy. It's about living a deeper truth. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. When time and effort are prioritized wisely, a dynamic is created where others must rise to meet those standards, rather than expecting them to be lowered for their convenience. Then comes the biggest fear: what if I walk away and they never come back? But the real question is, what if I stay and continue wasting time on someone who doesn't value me? The truth is, time and energy should never depend on someone else's choices. When effort is directed inward, toward growth, toward passion, toward building something meaningful, the right people naturally come into alignment, and those who fail to see the value are simply clearing the path for those who will. By treating time as the treasure it is, a powerful message is sent, not just to others, but to oneself. This isn't just about gaining respect from people, it's about cultivating respect from within. And when life is built on that foundation of self-worth, time is no longer spent chasing validation. It is spent on building something real, something lasting, something fulfilling. Guard your gold. Let your time reflect your value. Let those who wish to be in your life earn the privilege. In that choice lies true strength and, with it, the power to live a life of purpose, confidence, and undeniable worth. 6. Flip the script. Let them chase you. In every connection, there is a balance of power. The one who seeks, who craves, who constantly reaches out, often finds themselves at a disadvantage. It's exhausting, isn't it? Always wondering if they'll text back, if they'll make time, if they truly care. But what if everything changed? What if, instead of chasing, you became the one they couldn't ignore? This isn't about manipulation. It's about reclaiming power, embracing self-respect, and forcing them to realize what they once took for granted. Stoicism teaches a simple truth. Man is disturbed not by things, but by the views he takes of them. The discomfort of an unbalanced relationship isn't about their actions, it's about the need for validation. But the moment that need disappears, everything shifts. Suddenly, you are no longer the one waiting, hoping, or pleading. You are the one setting the standard. Imagine a lighthouse standing tall on a cliff. Ships navigate toward it, drawn by its steady glow. But the lighthouse never moves. It never begs the ships to stay. It simply shines. This is how attraction truly works. People are naturally drawn to confidence, to presence, to those who don't need to beg for attention. The key to shifting the dynamic is creating space, not by playing games, not by acting cold, but by valuing time and energy enough to step back when they're not reciprocated. Picture a pendulum. The harder it's pushed, the harder it resists. But let it go, and it swings back on its own. By stepping away, the absence is felt, the silence is deafening, and suddenly they are the ones questioning everything. But then comes the fear. What if they don't come back? The truth is, if they don't recognize your value, they were never worth the effort in the first place. Walking away isn't a loss. It's clearing space for someone who will see what they failed to. And for those who do realize what they lost, the space you created forces them to reflect. They begin to feel the very fear you once did, the fear of losing something truly valuable. This isn't manipulation. It's the natural consequence of self-respect. Think of a rare painting in a gallery, admired because of its uniqueness, its irreplaceable nature. Now imagine if that same painting were mass-produced and handed out for free. Its value would disappear. Your presence works the same way. When it is easily given, it is easily overlooked. When it is rare, it is priceless. Epictetus said, "No one is free who is not master of himself." Mastering the self means understanding that worth is never defined by someone else's attention. It is defined by action, by mindset, by the ability to walk away from anything that does not serve growth. Then the shift happens. The one who was once distant begins to wonder, why aren't they chasing anymore? Who else might be occupying their time? That uncertainty breeds urgency. The power they once held is gone. Now they must rise to meet your standards, not the other way around. Not because of anger, not out of spite, but because that is what self-respect demands. But here's the real revelation. This shift isn't just about how they see you, it's about how you see yourself. No longer trapped in the exhausting cycle of seeking approval, you become the one who commands respect without demanding it. You radiate value simply by existing, simply by being someone who refuses to settle. So let them chase you. Let them feel the fear of losing something rare. Let them scramble to reclaim what they once dismissed. And as they finally realize the worth they once ignored, you will stand tall, not as a player in the game, but as the ultimate prize. Rare, irreplaceable, worth every ounce of effort. This is the true power of Stoicism, unshakable, self-assured, and undeniably captivating. 7. Stop chasing ghosts. Build a life they can't ignore. It's a familiar story. Someone you care about begins to pull away and panic sets in. The instinct to chase, to fix, to prove your worth takes over. You ask yourself what went wrong, what you could have done differently, how to win them back. But chasing someone who is withdrawing isn't a solution. It's surrender. It's like a ship that has lost its course, drifting aimlessly toward a shore that refuses to anchor it. Stoicism teaches that your path must remain steady, rooted in your own strength, regardless of external turbulence. The moment you start running after someone, you unknowingly hand over your power. You send a silent message. My happiness, my self-worth, even my identity depend on you. But ask yourself, when did begging ever command respect? Imagine holding out a glass of water, offering it to someone. They refuse, but instead of drinking it yourself, you beg them to take it, spilling precious drops in desperation. This is what chasing looks like. A slow, painful loss of dignity, of self-respect, of the very essence that makes you valuable. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. The Stoic approach is clear. Happiness and self-worth must come from within. The moment you believe your peace exists in someone else's hands, you've already lost. Then comes the fear. But if I don't chase them, won't they forget about me? The truth is, chasing doesn't make them stay. More often than not, it makes them run faster. When someone knows they have your attention, no matter how they treat you, they stop valuing it. But when you step away, when you build a life so rich, so fulfilling that their absence no longer controls you, that's when everything changes. It's not about playing games. It's not about making them jealous. It's about proving to yourself and to the world that you are a person of value who does not need anyone's validation to feel whole. Imagine this. You stop chasing. You stop waiting. You turn inward. You focus on your goals, your passions, the relationships that actually bring joy. You become like a tree with deep roots, unshaken by storms. And what happens? A natural void appears, a space they can't ignore. Suddenly they start questioning, why aren't they trying anymore? What has changed? Did I take something valuable for granted? But this isn't about tricking them into coming back. It's about reclaiming your power. Think of a lighthouse. It doesn't chase ships across the ocean, begging them to come closer. It simply stands firm, shining its light, allowing ships to navigate toward it. That's exactly how attraction works. The moment you stop reaching, you become the force they are drawn to. Then the final doubt. But what if they never come back? The real question is, why would I keep chasing someone who doesn't recognize my worth? Stoicism reminds us to focus on what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, our responses. You cannot control whether someone chooses to value you, but you can control whether you waste time on those who don't. And when you choose to value yourself, you start attracting people who genuinely appreciate your worth. Something powerful happens when you walk away. The balance shifts. The person who once felt like they had control, who assumed you would always be there, now sees you in a new light. Your independence becomes magnetic. Your confidence becomes irresistible. You're no longer scrambling for their attention. You're the one inspiring it. Epictetus said, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." When you recognize your own worth, you send a silent but powerful message. My life is full. My time is valuable. My happiness is not dependent on you. And in doing so, you become someone they no longer just want. You become someone they need. So stop running. Stop spilling your energy on people who refuse to see it for the treasure it is. Instead, thrive. Build a life so rich, so powerful, that it draws others to you effortlessly. When you stand firm in your worth, you no longer chase anything. Instead, the world moves to meet you. 8. Rise so high they can't reach you. When someone pulls away, it feels like a blow to the ego, a sudden shift that shakes confidence and stirs doubt. The instinct is to question everything. What went wrong? What needs to be fixed? How to bring them back? But Stoicism teaches that setbacks are not moments to despair, they are opportunities to grow. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The solution is never to chase. It is to turn inward, to sharpen, to elevate. True value isn't found in someone else's validation. It is built from within. When someone creates distance, it is not a reflection of worth, but a redirection of energy. Instead of focusing outward, the moment calls for investment in self, in purpose, in growth. Imagine a tree standing tall in a storm. The wind howls, the leaves scatter, but the tree does not chase after what has fallen. Instead, it digs its roots deeper, finding strength within the earth. That is what must be done. Rather than bending and breaking for those who withdraw, the answer lies in standing firm, rooted, unshaken, unwavering. Then comes the question, how do I elevate my value? The answer is simple yet profound. Invest. Invest in passions, in knowledge, in physical strength, in creativity, in pursuits that challenge and refine. Set ambitious goals that force evolution. Step outside your comfort zones and build a life so fulfilling that external approval becomes irrelevant. Growth is not a distraction. It is the foundation of an unshakable existence. Think of this process like polishing a diamond. Each effort, each discipline, each challenge adds brilliance, making the presence undeniable. This is not about pretending to be more or seeking recognition. It is about becoming more. A lighthouse does not dim when a ship sails away. It continues to shine, standing tall, steady, and unwavering. This is the energy that must be embodied, the pursuit of growth, of purpose, of fulfillment. This is what makes someone magnetic. And then comes the fear, if I focus on myself, won't they forget about me? But the truth is, those who chase and beg are easily overlooked. Those who thrive and elevate become impossible to ignore. Confidence, independence, and ambition are rare and captivating forces. By embodying these qualities, the entire dynamic shifts. No longer waiting, no longer craving attention, but becoming someone worthy of it. And this transformation does something powerful. It forces reflection. Suddenly they begin to wonder, why aren't they chasing? What has changed? Have I lost something irreplaceable? This shift is not about games, it is about alignment. People are drawn to what stands strong, to what refuses to be shaken. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Taking control of growth and happiness is reclaiming power. It is choosing purpose over desperation, strength over attachment. Often, this shift compels them to reconsider their own actions. The moment the chase ends, the moment the focus shifts inward, they begin to see what was once taken for granted, not because of manipulation, but because the undeniable truth of self-worth cannot be ignored. But the goal is never to make them chase. It is never about proving worth to someone else. The goal is to build a life so strong, so full, so powerful that nothing external can shake it. To rise above, not to be noticed, but because growth demands it. And in doing so, attraction becomes effortless, not because of a desperate need to be seen, but because true strength, true confidence, and true purpose are magnetic. Rise above. Use rejection as fuel. Stand so tall that their absence no longer matters. Because when you elevate yourself to a point they can't reach, you no longer chase. You become the standard.